Hello, Professor Prakash. This is my project video for the Thevenin and Norton equivalent circuits. Focus right here. I use my diagram as outlined on the diagram here. Using the particular resistors, I've gotten enough resistance to get a Thevenin equivalent of 3.9 kiloohms. Back to me. I've done all the calculations of the circuit and everything, and I know it runs fine. Okay, back to the board. Each one of these are the different load resistances from, not from 0, but from about 47 ohms all the way up to 5.6 kiloohms as outlined in the lab. I figured the best way to do this was to have every single load resistor wired to ground and then use the power off of R4, I think, the power lead off of 4, and hook it up to each terminal, and then using, on the screen, using the Nidax multimeter, get the voltage off of it, and then record it on the paper to find out which one is going to have the highest voltage on it, and therefore dissipate the most amount of power. I'm going to go ahead and have her videotape me through all of them. I want to try to keep this video as short as possible. I think the point of this video is just for you to see me do the experiment, make sure I understand what I'm doing. So I think this will work most efficiently. Just keep on me, and then whenever I look to things, every now and then look to the screen, this right here particularly, to see what. I am starting the VI right now, setting my voltage to 5 volts, and running continuously. And taking my voltage reading, and I am getting 0 volts, or unreadable. Let me set my range smaller, because I'm thinking with such a low resistance I'm getting very low voltage. There it is. Whoops. A solid 0.023 volts. I had my leads backwards, which is why it was negative. I'll try to avoid that. Okay, moving on to the next resistance on terminal 10, and taking my voltage reading. I'm leaving the range where it's at because I know this is going to be small. Doubled, which means double the voltage, which makes perfect sense. 0.050 volts. I lost it. That's okay. And going to the next terminal, terminal 15. And this one's going to be a little tricky to squeeze in there, but I'll manage. I should have thought of this one a little bit better. Shoot. There we go. And we're getting 0.98 volts. That's okay. That's okay. On to the next one, terminal 20. Oops, switch my leads around here, and getting 0.206 volts. I think I might have a resistance problem under a loose wire because it should have read higher than it is, but maybe here. Because something's wrong. Going back to terminal 15. There it is, 0.1. That's where I screwed up. Okay. Moving on to terminal 25, which is a pretty simple one. Volts. As we're increasing in resistance, we are getting an increase in voltage, which is to be expected. The higher resistance, the higher voltage drop you're going to have across it. Going to terminal 30 now. And I need to look for some leads here. And 0.554 volts. Going to terminal 35. See 45, which is 2.2 kilo ohms. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. We're having a voltage drop of 0.728. Oops. Now 3.9 kilo ohms, which should be the ideal resistance for maximum power transfer, as per the rules of Thevenin and Norton. We are pulling 1.03 volts. And then down to the 5.6K, which was the original load as per the lab, which is giving us a nice 1.225 volts DC. Okay, back to me. Okay, now to calculate the current in each resistor, and then once I find the current, multiply the resistance times the current squared, and that'll give me my power for each resistor, which will be in the lab report. At this point, I think you see my experimental setup. Back to the board. As you can see, I didn't have any specific resistors that your lab might have available. I have bought a resistor pack with various resistances all the way up to 1 mega ohm, and I set my circuit up and proceeded from there. And so far, the experiment seems like it was pretty much a success, and you'll be seeing my lab report. This is me signing off.